Hello there everyone. So in today's video I'm going to be doing a pretty big ScrawlrBox unboxing because I have quite a few of these boxes that I've accumulated over a few months. So I've also had them for a few months. So I've been anticipating wanting to open them, but they've just been stood on the side in my studio because I've been really busy with a few other things and I wanted to enjoy this nicely. So I'm gonna now finally get to open them. And I thought instead of just doing one video per box, I would just do them all in one video here because I really just want to open them and see what's inside. Now, one or two of them are actual subscription ones, more recent ones. And then the rest of them are ones that I bought, kind of old boxes that I bought in a sale that they had. So it's a bit of a mix. And in total I have, starting from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 boxes. Now I'm not sure which one's which from the beginning. I'm literally just going to kind of grab them. The only thing I'm pretty sure of is, just getting back to the other one, the first one there, is that this one is the oldest one just because of how it looks before they changed packaging to look like this now. So this is one of the ones that I bought in a sale where it's an older box they had on offer. So I know that for sure, but I'm just literally going to start randomly from one and we'll take them one at a time. And also because it's kind of been a while, the ones that I bought in a sale, so old boxes, obviously I know what's in them. When I bought them, you can tell what's in them, but honestly, I kind of don't remember. So it's all gonna more or less be a surprise for me. And I have tried to purposely avoid the newest ones as well that I knew I didn't open yet, of the newer subscription ones. So you can see that this one is from January 2020. So this is getting to almost 2 years ago in a few months. Anyway, let's have a look, get the insides out. Nice little print. Now obviously bearing in mind this is a bit of an older box, so they have changed a little bit. For instance here, I think you're getting a few pieces of paper, whereas now you tend to more get some actual pads of paper, which I think is quite lovely. So like I said, technically I know what's in this, but I do not remember. From the feel of this paper, I have a feeling it might have to do with some pastels of some sort. Ooh yeah, kind of bringing a little bit of memories back. So we have soft pastels, half stick set. Nice colors actually, very natural, neutral. Oh yeah, I forgot you get sweets with it every time as well. I don't know what this is. Dipper and strawberries on, so I'm guessing it's strawberry flavored, but I'm not familiar with it. It says chewy caramel, so we'll have a look, see what that is at some point. And then we have 3 pastel pencils, which I have never personally tried before, and I actually didn't really know they existed until recently I saw something with them, so that is quite interesting. And then it says here about the paper, this is Canson paper, so basically this is specifically made for pastels and stuff like that. So then let's just bring in the next one. This is the one we go straight on to the more recognizable boxes now, the custom ones they started doing. And then let's just pull this open. It's also nice that you can literally just pull it instead of having to use scissors for that tape. And this one is May 2021, I can tell. So this is one of the recent ones that I had a subscription to. Ooh, I'm liking the look of this. There's a lot of purples, which is, maybe you can tell, a favorite color of mine. And this looks lovely. And this is what I meant before. Nowadays, you tend to get more an actual full pad of paper, which I think is absolutely brilliant. Dive into them. Let's first have a look at the sweet, which I still keep forgetting about. Licorice. Black currant and licorice. Probably not for me. I am not a fan of licorice. But anyway, I really do like this print. This artwork is very lovely. All this is all very purple right now, as I'm also wearing purple. First of all, we have a liner by the looks of it. 0.8mm black. And this is a Derwent. Curious how that is to write with. We'll just write on this. So it's a little bit of a thicker one. And then we get a brush. Curious why we get a brush. It's probably to do with this then. Pearl Burnish Liquid White, which is this. I'm not entirely sure what this is actually. So liquid white colored pencil. So this is probably to use for something like adding highlights. Let's have a look what it looks like. So those are like the extras, I would say. And then the main part would be the actual pencils. Cute little wrapping. Oh my, I'm liking these colors. So here we have the colors. They are beautiful. Just right up my alley. I'm really liking this color theme. Even the actual pad, the front cover is also purpley. Straight on to the next one. So this wasn't one I had a subscription to, but I bought it afterwards for quite cheap. I discovered once I had a subscription to them that they every now and then do a sale of old boxes that they still have in stock, and quite often for quite cheap. So I got, as you can tell, a few of those boxes when they had a sale on. Literally, I think the normal price for a box is 15 or 16 pounds, and I got all these extra boxes for £5 each. And basically all the materials inside are obviously going to be worth way more than that. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I think that's some right bargains there. Ooh, watercolor. And also this is very watercolor watercolory. Again, beautiful colors. Oh, that's nice. And so we have a watercolor pad. So I'm guessing there's going to be something watercolor related. This looks interesting. Okay, get this out of the way first of all. What is this? Banana split Eclair. Okay, I've never heard of that. I know Eclairs and I do like them, but I've never heard of a banana split one. Not so sure about that personally. I like actual bananas, but I don't usually tend to like banana flavored things. So what do we have here? We have a brush that is very white. Sketching. So is this, looks like it's kind of a regular pencil, but quite a chunky one actually. So we have three. We have a green, which is called emerald green. We have a brown, which is walnut brown, and a red, which is deep scarlet red. And then what are these? Again, Faber-Castell watercolor marker. Interesting. So a yellow, which do we have the proper name? Cadmium yellow, and a phthalo blue. So those two colors, very bright, very in your face. But I'm curious how they, first of all, how they work, because I've never used these before, that's for sure. But also how they work in relation to adding water to them. So that is this box. Next one. Let's dive into, first impressions. That looks very interesting. It looks beautiful. To brown, kind of feel like craft paper almost. I didn't even see that. There's a little thing hiding underneath. It's a little, what looks like a sketchbook. That's cute. I really like that. That's very cute. The fact that it's quite small, but obviously still usable. And there's actually quite a few pages in here. And I can even imagine kind of adding color or adding something metallic to the front. I think that would be really lovely. I saw a gold coin. So I'm guessing that's a chocolate coin. I think we all kind of know what that is. And then, that is... You see, these ones I bought knowing what were in them, but I'm kind of just as surprised probably as someone that didn't know what were in them when they bought them, because I honestly don't remember this. The world's glitteriest plant-based glitter. So that is nice that it's plant-based. That's very lovely. And, we have Faber-Castell Pita artist pens. Now, I do actually have a pack of these myself as well. Funnily enough, I literally have them right here. This is the pack that I have, a pack of 8. So I probably already have these 4 and I like them. So great. We have, is this a regular pencil? ScrawlrBox branding, 4B. So it's going to be quite soft that. Yeah, you can tell definitely. We then have a stick it. So that is obviously for the gold dazzle. And then we have a Signo Uniball broad, which I also think, I'm pretty sure I have one of these. So that is what was in this one. Gold is already starting to go all over. Right, I think we're halfway through. This is, again, I don't remember. I'm seeing these things, but it's not clicking with me yet what it actually is. And then here we have, wow, this is very smooth. So this is 20 sheets, that's quite a lot. Smooth, white bleed proof paper. I see something else I recognize. First of all, the Sweet Avimto Tuba. Now these ones I know, I do like these, they're quite nice. And then we get a Faber-Castell dust-free eraser. So I already have this and use it. And I actually really like it. It's a really nice eraser. Just a little note, I don't know about you, but something I used to do when I was, I guess, a kid at school and that, I would always, when I erase something, this is where the dust free comes in, by the way. It's not that you don't get any dust at all, but it's the fact that it collects more and it doesn't spread as much and you get loads of little bits that kind of collects more and becomes easier basically to remove. But what I always did as a kid was collect this up, and obviously in my pencil case I would then keep it. I would start to collect it and basically turn it into almost a little bit of a DIY kneaded eraser, and I would just keep that and keep building it whenever I had more eraser dust. And yeah, I don't know why, I always did that as a kid in school and stuff, and apparently I still do. A pencil and an HB. We have a black liner. This is, I haven't tried this specific one. What brand is this? It's water-based, Molotov, and it's 0.4. Here we have some markers. These are the tri-blend ones, Spectrum Noir. Yeah, I've seen about these before. I've never tried them, but I have seen about them. But I do like the concept of these, where you basically have one color, and in the one color here, in one marker, you have 3 different tones of it, and then makes it easy to blend and get a nice gradient. So I do like that concept of it, especially if you're kind of not too sure or familiar, or maybe even a beginner. It could help a lot. Counting down, we have 3 left. Lovely butterfly. I really do love this front. This one, this is familiar as well. Drumstick. Sea White. 350 GSM. Yep, that is very thick. Watercolor paper. Okay. 12 sheets of premium quality fine art paper. We have, it's a Caran d'Ache watercolor. And speaking of Jelly Roll earlier, we have that exact one here. And another brush. Now, this is the one where, again, I knew what was in this when I bought it, and I was very intrigued by what this actually was. This is something I've definitely never tried before. And they are kind of these little sticks. Almost looks like pastels, but it's not like regular pastels. Derwent Inktense blocks. So they're these blocks where I'm guessing, again, I have no experience with this, but you activate them with water and use them, I'm guessing, more or less as watercolor. And we've got 2 left. But again, even more so, I don't know what's in these because I've been purposely trying to avoid. I did get 1 or 2 sneak peeks by accident, unfortunately, and I do think this was one of them. But then I tried to quickly look away and kind of try and forget about it. But anyway, this looks like something I have been very interested in for quite a while now. So this looks like basically inks, which is something, like I said, I have been very interested in for a while. I just absolutely love the way they look. Again, look at these colors and on the background, that looks lovely, just right up my street. We have, this is the art print, and we get the paper is 10 sheets of Yupo pad. I'm guessing it should hopefully work well with inks. So here are the actual inks. So we have a Caribbean, we have a magenta, and then we have diamond sparkle, and then this extender. Okay, so I'm guessing that extender you use to dilute them or something like that. I was so excited about the alcohol inks, I even forgot about the sweet. So here we have a drumstick, bubblegum flavor. Now I like drumsticks, but I'm not so usually keen on bubblegum flavor, so I'm not so sure about that one. Of whatever I don't like though, I usually give to my husband, so that's fine. We then also get a paintbrush, of course. There is a paper straw, and then also a pipette. And I think we are on to our last box. So let's just bring that right in. So the final one here, the actual paper, is watercolor paper. And we have, this is a sweet. I'm not sure what this is. I'm not familiar with this. So a lemon, obviously there's lemons on it. So a lemon flavored something. Right, let's just have a look at the pencils first. We have some different colors. So are these, yeah, they're watercolor pencils. So Derwent watercolor pencils, we have a black, there's a terracotta, and a Prussian blue. And then we have a paintbrush again. And then we have, again, something I'm not really familiar with. They are, let's just read it, Jackman's pearlescent watercolor puts. I honestly don't remember ordering this. Obviously I did, and I must have, but I don't remember it. I'm just going to keep them on here, even though it's a bit noisy, because in case they leak or something. They are, like I said, pearlescent watercolor pots, which I have not used anything like this before. That is very lovely. You can see that metallic already, that pearlescent. So that is the very final box here. I'm quite intrigued by this specifically, that's for sure. But to be honest, a lot of the things, obviously the alcohol inks, are probably my #1 thing that I'm excited about, because I've been wanting to do them for so long already, and now I actually have a few I can play with. So that is everything that was in all 8 boxes. So both the ones of recent subscription ones, but also some older boxes that I ordered on sale. And I'll be honest, I think that's a pretty good haul of materials, especially considering the prices of some of those boxes. I definitely got a right bag in there. Now the question is just where to start, because as you can see, they don't even fit on the screen, all the materials here. So yeah, I guess just maybe trying out some of the materials, playing around with them, swatching them, see how they are, how they look, and then see what I can come up with and try and make some art with them. So of course I had to start with the inks because I was just so excited to try them out, and I've been wanting to for so long. So first of all, I grabbed one piece of paper to just kind of use them and play around with them. And of course I realized then I had to open up the inks, kind of little, I guess you could call security tab. So I had to get a needle out, and just that process got a little bit messy, but whatever, moving on. So I just thought I would kind of use the inks on this paper first of all, just to see how they acted and what I could do with them. So I just kind of splotched some on there quite randomly and see how they mixed together, and just see what I could do with them basically, and also how the colors mixed together. And I really love how that ended up. So obviously it's a pink and a blue, so it would actually end up being purple, which is right down my street. And there was also that kind of glittery one, which I also added just to see how the effect would be. And yeah, that is really beautiful. So I'm really glad they included that as well. And I kind of just kept adding to this piece of the same piece of paper, and I kind of thought I wanted to show you the whole process, because I actually found it really mesmerizing just to see how the inks interact with each other and the colors. And I just wanted to show you the whole process basically, because it's really mesmerizing, and I actually quite ended up liking the final result anyway. So as you saw, the first ink I put on there didn't really look that nice or anything, but as I kept adding to it, it just kept building up, and I really loved how it ended up turning out, and also with that sparkleness in it as well. So I actually think this piece turned out alright as a little abstract color piece. Now next I had to obviously try out the straw method, you could say. So again I used another piece of paper, and I just put a few drops of ink on there, and then used the straw to kind of blow it out in different directions. And let's just say I got a little bit caught up. So I started out again using the 2 colors, thinking I would kind of do 4 different splotches on the paper and then blow them outwards away from each other. And I kind of thought, because of the composition of those 4 pieces, the top 2 were pink and the bottom 2 were blue, I thought it would make a pretty cool impression of a butterfly. So I then thought, take a liner and draw on top of it. So basically the ink is the color as the background, and then afterwards I draw on top of the ink to kind of create the final image, or the shape you could say. Now the butterfly itself didn't turn out that nicely because obviously it was straight with an ink pen, or rather a liner, but still I really like the idea of it, and doing this basically gave me ideas straight away to wanting to do way more of this. So I do have a few more pieces to show you after this one. Like I said, this isn't the nicest butterfly in the world, but I really like the basic concept of it. So what I did do was create more like this. So obviously took some new paper and then again created some splotches on that paper, used the straw to kind of spread it out nicely, and then basically draw on top of it. Now again, I did continue with the theme butterflies to begin with, and I do like these more. The butterflies are still a little bit wonky-ish. I've liked the blue bottom one here the most, kind of side view one. The other ones are a little bit wonky, but I still really like the concept and idea of it because it's just abstract in a way, the color of it, but at the same time you get that nice shape of the butterfly. Now the next one here is my favorite one. I really like how this turned out, and I could just have kept going with this. So again, I did the splotches of color, the ink first, and then I drew different flower shapes on top of them, and I really like how that turned out. It just gave me so many ideas to kind of use this and create patterns and illustrations in other ways like this. I really like the abstract and the kind of solid together. So that's basically how I ended up using the ink. Now next I moved on to the ink sticks, I think they were, and I was very curious about trying these as well because I found them very interesting. Now when I swatched them at first, I was a little bit unsure because they seemed a little bit difficult to work with. They wouldn't really blend nicely, and even just putting them down on the paper by themselves, they just had a very funny texture to them. So I'm not entirely sure yet how to use them. I'm still figuring that out, but I definitely do want to keep experimenting with them because I do like the concept of them, I guess. So what I thought I would do was to also try and lay down the ink on the paper. We got a little princess there, keep wanting to be part of it. So lay the ink down on the paper dry first, like you would kind of do charcoal or chalk. And then afterwards, I would then add water to it and then see how that reacted, because the swatches I only did water with a brush straight on the stick and then put it on paper. So I basically ended up doing this several layers, and I don't remember how many layers, but quite a few layers, and it did end up building up quite opaque, which I do like the effect of. Again, I did struggle to have them blend nicely though, but this is how the background kind of ended up. So I thought I would do a bit of a background like this where it kind of graduates from the top to the bottom, and then I would use again a liner on top and create a bit of an under the sea image. So just basically have silhouettes of all under the sea things, like some plants and some fish and things like that. And I like the concept of it. Like I said, the background is a little bit, I'm a bit unsure of that, and some of the fish are also a little bit, I guess, wonky, because again they were just drawn on there with a liner straight on without pencil or anything. So especially the seahorse that I'm doing in a bit, that's a little bit weird looking, but anyway, some of the fish are okay. And I will also say, using this liner, it was quite a thick one on top of this ink that had obviously dried and everything. It was not the easiest because it kept kind of clogging up and it did not want to just flow nicely and keep working. So that was a little bit tricky as well. Now I did also have one of the brush liners that I used. That did work better, but it still kind of ended up drying up a little bit. But this is the final piece, just a little bit of fun trying out the materials. Now next I jump straight on to the soft pastels, and I've never really used these properly in any way. I've used them once or twice for like a background in an adult coloring book, just kind of more or less a bit of flat color. So I was curious about this, and honestly I actually really enjoyed this. I've already added a set of soft pastels on my wish list on Amazon, so, and paper as well, because obviously this is the paper that kind of goes with the soft pastels. I really enjoyed it, and I actually quite liked how it ended up. So yeah, I'll be doing more of that, that's for sure. So I just used both the soft pastels and also the pastel pencils, which I actually quite enjoy, because the pencils you can achieve more detail with them with the actual sticks of pastels. So yeah, I just created a bit of a scene, landscape scene, a nice sky with some nice color in there, and then just kind of a field area. So I actually really enjoyed the process of this, even though it was a bit messy. It didn't really bother me, but I also quite liked how it ended up. So yeah, I'm definitely going to keep playing around with with soft pastels in the future. I just need to get me a nice decent sized set with more colors in it. But I actually really like the combination that they sent as well. So the colors in the set of the soft pastels were actually quite nice, especially for landscape images and things like that. And also then the soft pastel pencils, they had a bit more color, like some bright color in them, so they added like just a nice pop. And again, we have a little princess there, just having a look at what's going on, approving everything, I guess, and she just wants to be part of it. And I tried adding a little bit of like a mistiness to one side of it as well. I think that worked out. And yeah, haven't really got a whole lot more to say about this, other than I quite enjoyed it and like the results, so I definitely want to use more of that. Right, next I moved on to some of the other materials basically that I hadn't used in the previous pieces, because there were a lot here to try and go through and use. And obviously I had the markers that I then used here. First of all, I drew just some hot air balloons on a piece of paper. I used one of the kind of mixed media pieces. I thought that would work. Now it turns out that wasn't the ideal choice, because the markers here actually did not work that well on that paper. They would bleed very easily. Just having one marker on there for just basically more than a second, and it would just start bleeding a lot and spreading on the paper. So that wasn't ideal. But anyway, I tried using them on some of the hot air balloons there. I just gave the hot air balloons some different patterns and that. And then I used some of the other materials. There was some watercolor pencils as well. I used some of the ink sticks on this as well, just to get some of the colors in there. And then there were also the markers, the kind of watercolor markers that I'm using now, which was a lovely blue, very nice and bright. So I didn't want to kind of have a very solid background. Obviously it's the sky. I didn't want to just use a marker as it was and color the whole background in. I wanted to give this kind of watercolor effect to make it a bit more lively. So I did that all the way around. I drew with the marker on the paper first, and then used a brush with water on it, and then basically spread it out. And I do think that worked quite well. I'm actually surprised these markers were really good to kind of then use a brush with water and spread it out. Normally you would expect them to part of where you drew to be remaining, but actually it completely dissolved it and spread it out nicely. So that actually worked out alright, I think. And I just finished it off with a bit of liner here, because just to make it a little bit more crisp. It was a little bit messy otherwise, but this is the final one, just a little bit of fun. And these are all the pieces that I made. I love the ink, and I also really enjoyed the soft pastels. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching it, and I'll see you in the next one.